Hey everybody, we are live and I am in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Look, Rich, look how beautiful the weather is down here. I think you have like the third storm of the week hitting Connecticut. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out in between the snowflakes this weekend. Can't wait to come down to Fort Lauderdale.
We have 5 days left, maybe four, maybe six. Who's counting? But I'm so excited. Next week, the Big Tech Super Show. What number show is this? Because you've been through decades of IT expos. Is this going to be the best one ever? I think that can you go out
It,
on a limb and commit to
it
that?
is the best ever. Great attendance, unbelievable record conferences, tremendous number of speakers, hundreds and hundreds of speakers, hundreds of exhibitors. We should have somewhere in the neighborhood of 7,000 to 8,000 people at the show. Good number. The conferences, especially this year, are booming, and we think the reason for that is because we just have so much new and exciting content, especially generative AI. And AI is really littered throughout the conference program, whether you're looking to embed communications AI or business AI or any other part of your organization, trying to make it more efficient. The show is really about helping companies become more profitable, more efficient, more competitive. It differentiates itself from other events. It's not a consumer show. You're not going to see Taylor Swift there. You're going to come and do business for a few days. There will be, there's entertainment. Yeah, we've got networking events, but really it's a focus on, business networking and just doing great in your job and doing great in your career, your business, and being successful.
Well, I love that. And there are hundreds of speakers, analysts, media, journalists, presenters as well. Call out a few favorite children. Who are some of your favorite? We'll give them some props here. Keynotes, speakers, sponsors that you're really excited to hear from this year.
Well, I don't want to. So here's the situation. I don't want to call out a few because when you have hundreds,
Oh, come on.
you offend 297, right? So I don't want to be in that situation. But what I can tell you is the top names in the industry are at the show. Analysts, great analysts, a mix of analysts you won't see at any other show. They're really. We've got the analysts from the South American area, the Florida area, Southeast, as well as global analysts that are there. Many of them are speaking. We've got companies that are also speaking, top companies in AI, in communications. All the big names are there, and I think it's probably more important to just focus on the disciplines. If you're looking to implement IoT in your organization to become more productive with sensors and devices within the organization, tracking cameras, things like that, then this is the right show for you. The IoT and co-located events, there's a bunch of them. You really can delve deep in industrial IoT, smart city. So no matter what your needs are, there's content for you. If you're looking for artificial intelligence, Gen AI, there's two tracks this year. It's our third generative AI expo. Tons of content on how to make your company more productive and efficient. If you actually have customers and you're trying to become more productive and efficient with servicing them, there's an event called Future of CX, Future of Customer Experience. There's a bunch of AI in there, but it's not just AI. It's really what does the customer of the future want, and how do you keep them, retain them, and then be competitive. So those are just a few examples. There's a co-located MSP Expo for managed service providers. They're the independent companies that you call to set up your networking for you. To when you need a help desk, when you have cybersecurity issues, you deal with a managed security service provider or a managed service provider (MSP). Both of those will be represented in the thousands at this show, and that's just really an overview of some of the things. There's probably more that I left. I mean, we're going to have a Shark Tank like event called IDEA, which I think now is probably the 15th one we've done, somewhere in that range. And it's basically a bunch of startups and judges, and you get to vote, and it's like really exciting. And a networking event outside where it's warm, where you get to talk with your peers. Networking events in the exhibit hall, and people keep telling us that the importance of going to a show as opposed to just staying at home or in your office online is that your potential for networking and your potential for incidental knowledge in the exhibit hall. You're walking down the hall and you start talking to someone or a company, or you see something that catches your attention, and the next thing you know, you're deploying something that made your organization more efficient that you didn't even know about that morning. You just can't easily replicate that with an online experience. And then couple that with the ability to talk to a company that you weren't aware of, and then at the same time talk to their resellers and their customers, current customers, at the same time in the same venue, to ask the pros and cons. Like how long does it take you to do that online? It may not even be possible. And for those of us that have trusted reviews online for years, like myself included, like Amazon, then you find out a lot of them are fake, and they're cracking down on trying to crack down on, or trying to get rid of the fake reviews on Amazon and other sites. So really having a face-to-face conversation with someone, just it establishes trust, and that trust is important because it permeates into your organization. You don't want to deploy something and then be the person who deployed something that doesn't work right. So, we're really all about helping companies implement technology, find out what's next, but also what's important today to become productive, efficient, and competitive.
Wow, that is a mic drop moment there. I'm really excited about the co-resident events that happen at IT Expo, like the CX track is going to be a real blockbuster. You've got like Jonathan Rosenberg from Five9, got Cognigy. They're doing amazing work with AI agents. I mean, CX is really being reinvented with Gen AI and AI, and it's the most exciting time in the contact center world right now. So these experts and the analysts are really going to open the kimono and show us like what's next for CX.
Yes, and it's important to realize that data is the lifeblood of AI, and customer relationships generate lots of data that often goes unused, or it's just pieces of it are used. And then if you could just get a holistic view of customers and that data and other data, let's say that's on social networks, and simultaneously use AI for predictive reason or in a predictive capacity to determine, what the sentiment is about your company, what your customers are telling you, what the opportunities may be for expansion, for growth, maybe other areas of the world that you're not in right now, other countries. But just as importantly, I've spoken to companies that have deployed technology that let them know when there's some kind of service issue, which they weren't necessarily easily able to determine based on the calls to customer service, and the AI kind of predicted that there's an issue here based upon these calls or the keyword analysis of what the customers are calling about. Same thing with competitive relationships. If a number of customers mention your competition, and your competition is now offering this, and I'm switching and I'm canceling things, or just mentioning it incidentally on the call, so you haven't seen the cancellations, but you're hearing more and more mentions of this offer from so and so competitor. Being able to try to figure out how to hit that head on before it turns into a loss. And in a normal company, that loss would be determined, at the end of the quarter, maybe a month after, depending on how books are done. So you're going to find out potentially 4 months after that you've been losing share all quarter, and then you have to try to figure out how to solve it. And with these tools, and that's just one example of what if you could proactively, reactively solve your company's problems, and make the company autonomous. And I'm going to use an analogy. OpenAI's the ChatGPT solution now has something called Operator. We were just talking about it. I have some manual tasks that I do myself, or I offload. I can't offload all my manual tasks, and I had one that was taking me hours, and I kind of
Wow.
enjoyed doing it. I was doing it while I was doing something else. It wasn't terrible, but I finally realized, I've got a lot more rows in this spreadsheet to go through. This could take me, it could take me 20 hours. And I said, all right, let me get on Operator. And Operator basically is like ChatGPT with the ability to use a web browser. And I realized all the different areas I needed to go to were available via the web. And so I told Operator what I needed to do. And it's kind of like a child. You need to kind of get it up to speed. But once you get it up to speed, you basically can just have a window, and you can, I think it's 10 windows you can have. I have a window on my screen that's just going through and doing this labor, and I can watch it. And when it has a problem with, sometimes password, two-factor authentication, something like that is an issue. I have to put in a password, whatever. I see it working. I see it doing the work I would do. So I could be doing something else. I could have 10 of these simultaneously. And that's today. Imagine, agents like this just in the future. This is really where things are going. So we're kind of like in the first inning of agents running our company and integration. How do you get all these agents to work together? How do you get the agents in accounting to work with agents in CRM and agents in sales and agents in marketing? And how do you do this in a way that's as efficient as possible, so you don't have to have higher overhead than necessary, so that you can maximize either your profit or lower your price to be competitive? I mean, we're really at a turning point in business. And this is really, I mean, if I had to say, what is this show about? And this is really not even in the tagline, but it's been evolving as I look at all these pieces coming together. We're at the dawn of the autonomous enterprise, and you're not going to be around if you don't have an autonomous enterprise. Most of us won't, I'm going to say, because you are going to have higher expenses. You're just going to have more red tape. You're going to have more human involvement than necessary. How do you compete with a startup? And there's startups right now, Evan, and I hate to, I know I'm kind of rambling here, but it's just, I want to keep this point on, or keep on this point. There are startups being funded right now that basically are just going to acquire companies in an industry and replace the people with autonomy, because the companies are too slow in doing it. So startups are raising funds to buy and automate. And imagine you are in it. I'll guarantee you're in an industry where this is going to happen. And as scary as that sounds, and you may say, "Oh, well, I'm in an area where that doesn't happen." We have ghost kitchens now where robots are replacing chefs, and you just have to have, in the morning, you come and maybe stock up the meats and the vegetables, etc. And then the ghost kitchens actually assemble the food, put it in a bag, put it in a locker, and an Uber driver comes, or whoever comes and picks it up, delivers it. You're not immune, because you're not in a business that is purely digital. We are all getting disrupted in a way that we have not considered. And there's we've probably seen on YouTube or TikTok, you've seen humanoid robots. Humanoid robots are going to be doing more and more in the next 3 to 4 years. Costs are going to plummet. So it's the world is evolving faster than it's ever evolved, and you cannot sit at home or sit in your office and learn everything you need to learn by yourself. Networking is crucial. Talking to experts and analysts like yourself, Evan, is absolutely crucial. And that's the mission of this show. It's always been ITEXPO, the tech super show. Make your company as good as it can be, as profitable and efficient as it can be, and of course competitive, so you can last, because we want to see you again next year.
I love it. I love the serendipity at IT Expo, like the people you bump into, that you've maybe met in the past, the new people you meet, as well as the new companies you meet. I mean, you have all the big names that everyone knows and loves, Cisco's and IBM's of the world and big tech. But you have amazing vendors that, kind of sometimes get overlooked. And they have amazing technology, but they don't advertise, on the Super Bowl. So you might not know who they are. I can't wait to stop by and check those folks out.
Thanks for mentioning that. For whatever the reason is, I mean, we focused on it, I guess, internally. Other events, there's two classes of events. There's the private events where a vendor puts on their own event, and then they invite their own partners, and they have an agenda, right? They want to keep you within their ecosystem. And what if there's a product outside that ecosystem that can help you much more? You don't see it, you don't hear about it, you're not exposed to it. You're happy, but you're not necessarily getting the best products, right? You're getting products that work together, and there's benefits in that. But you know what? Now that I'm using Operator, I just started using it last night. Actually, even the interoperability is not an issue anymore, because AI can actually, even when there's no API, can now do the interoperability part for you. So even that issue is now, that line is blurred, right? So you can go back to using best of breed solutions and just integrate them via AI. So you've got that one class of event. Then you have the other event, which are events like ours that are independent, but some of them have been taken over by one or two really large companies that are super mega ultra platinum gold, super gold, platinum, whatever the, diamond, emerald, ruby sponsors. And yeah, we've got some big sponsors and we love them and they're great, but none of them we've not allowed any of them to actually dictate how we put the show together, and that's a differentiator. We try to be as objective as we can because we want to provide you with the best and level playing field, and that level playing field filters down to exhibitors who tell us that they do really well at our show because they're not overshadowed by a competitor who's not really a competitor. It's kind of a legacy company that's trying to box them out. So at ITEXPO, you're going to see all those companies. You might not see them at many other shows, or maybe there'll be one or two other shows, but generally they'll tell us that for these small to medium type companies, and it doesn't mean they're serving just small to medium businesses either, right? Some of these small to medium companies have great products that are used by the Fortune 500, but they're just not household names, like you said. They're not on the Super Bowl yet, and maybe they will be in 5 years, but not today.
Brilliant. And it's not too late, right? It's not obviously not too late to attend, pick up a pass, book a flight. Everyone flies into South Florida. It's really cheap and easy these days. And also
Yeah,
not
we
too late
expect
to
thousands,
sponsor,
thousands
right? I
of
mean,
people.
you take a lot
Sorry.
of last minute you take a lot of last minute sponsorships as well.
Yeah, last night I think 8x8 signed up for Future of CX Expo as a sponsor. So that was last. I saw that in my report. So maybe it was yesterday, whenever they did it. Companies are still sponsoring; they're still exhibiting, and we expect thousands of attendees to register between right now, which is the Friday before the show, and the Tuesday when the show starts. There will be thousands of people who register. Yes, so the answer is 100%. I recommend you register online. Do it ahead of time, just to save yourself time at the show. And we can't wait to see you there. And yes, you can get flights. There's still hotels. There's flights. The South Florida area has been very welcoming to us because they've got a lot of capacity, right? There's Airbnbs, there's hotels, there's everything.
That's where I am. I'm in my little Airbnb right 2 blocks from the beach.
But we
Super cheap,
recommend the show
actually
hotel, Evan. If I can
cheaper
make a
than a
point,
hotel.
I'm sorry to cut you off again, but I recommend show hotels just because you can network
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
And as I've said on prior interviews with you, Evan, you're paparazzi, or you've got paparazzi, so we understand. We understand why someone like you would avoid being in the common areas because you, Paris Hilton,
You
who's
know
the
who
who's
I am.
who's the
Exactly.
girl in the transparent dress? There's all sorts of people lately that the paparazzi have been taking a lot of photos of.
And I did check the weather. It is literally like this, 80 degrees and sunny for 10 days in a row. So you got to get down here. Everyone's got to come down here. And I can't wait to see you next week.
Yeah, likewise, Evan. Thanks so much for your time. Everyone who's watching, now's the time. Go to itexpo.com, click the register link in the top right, register, grab a hotel, grab a flight, come down for at least 2 days, hopefully three. The exhibit halls, two good, solid days. You'll need 2 days to see it all. And that will be the Wednesday and Thursday of the show. That will be the 12th and the 13th. So definitely, Fort Lauderdale is the place to be. Next week's the big week of tech discovery, business to business technology. Come and make your company better, your career better, become productive, more efficient, and learn all about how AI is going to change the way we work and live.
Come watch the Super Bowl outside on a boat here in South Florida. Way more fun having it outside on the intercoastal waterway, watching the game. But we know that in Boston, New England. So thanks, Rich. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Evan. Take care. Bye
Take
bye,
care.
Evan.